Hey.
Hey.
Welcome back.
It's episode 20.
Is it really?
It
Last week you didn't know.
I know now.
Well, thank God Almighty. He's the most elusive cryptid. Am I right? Don't laugh at that. Fuck. Welcome to another splendid spooky week. I have
Wait,
a couple...
I wanna say something.
Go for it.
I had a nightmare last night.
Wow. Okay, what was it? Was it spooky?
I had a dream about my current living situation, like my house that I'm living in.
Do you have a fire and you couldn't escape because you have no exit from your room?
No. No, it was there was a ghost girl. I'm gonna say a ghost girl, but I'm not sure. She was pretty physical, like physical form. And
Ghosts can be physical if they feel like it.
I guess so.
I mean, look at the Grudge.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's technically a ghost, but that thing will just punch you while it climbs down the steps, and you're like, oh god.
But yeah, it's it was like a girl, and she was like standing at the end of there's like a hallway from my bedroom hallway to the living room and the kitchen, and you can see like basically down the hallway into the living room, and then in the living room was this girl, and she was like just screaming and like contorting, and her arms kept like growing like lengthwise and like breaking and cracking and wrapping around her, and it just kept going. And the music that was playing was totally like a mixture of a couple of tracks from Silent Hill 1. I can't remember the names of the songs right now, but yeah.
So you're telling me Lanky Kong showed up in your dream last night?
Lanky Kong. Yes.
He has no bones.
It was
He's
like
also a girl.
straight up looked
He's
like
in.
Hanako-san. Like it was like, why?
That's dumb. I don't have dreams.
Yeah.
They're just scary.
Yeah, that was my dream.
I hope that leans into one of your topics.
Oh, and then I woke up to my closet like being open, and I was like, But I'm pretty sure it just creaks open because I need to clean up my closet. It has too many towels in it.
It's probably because you're haunted.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
If you think Christine's haunted, please write a comment. Christine, you're totally haunted. And if you don't think she's not haunted, just say nothing. I want to hear from you.
I don't want to hear from you. So yeah, that was my story.
Well, that's spooky.
But what were you gonna say? What's your first topic?
I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to let you take the floor. Go for it.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah, go for it.
Alright, well, okay. So I'm doing all of Rusho's suggestions.
All of his suggestions? There's like 7.
I think there were like 3. Might not be doing all of them, but I'm doing some of them. From the last video that was uploaded, so 19. So I guess first I'm gonna try to talk about the Yukon Beaver Eater.
That sounds Canadian.
Because it's in the Yukon, a place in Canada. Yes.
I don't know that. I'm not Canadian.
So yeah, Yukon Beaver Eater. Not much on this topic, like at all. It's like a lot of Native Americans like claim this is a thing, but like, yeah, I don't think many people have seen it. There is a sighting, and I don't see a date, so I don't know when that happened. But one of the theories is that it might be a like a land sloth or whatever. Those like not prehistoric, but like, what, I don't even know what era that is. Those like big sloths from the past that were like herbivores, but they're like giganto.
Herbivores? You don't say the age.
I said herbivores, didn't I?
No, you said herb.
Herb.
Herbie the Love Bug. That's what you said. Also, I might be making things up because I was reading something in my book.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
In the back of my book, it has other books I could buy, and I was looking at scary books to buy. Sorry.
Nice. But yeah, not much on it.
So wait, it's just a land sloth?
I think it's a giant ground sloth, but like...
What does it do?
It eats beavers though, so which is different from like a ground sloth, because like ground sloths are herbivores. So yeah, but it's supposed to be like 8 to 9 feet tall and would knock over the beaver lodges and like just nom the beavers while they're all spooked from their house being exploded.
That just wasn't your prime minister?
Wait, are we talking about current prime minister or previous one?
Both. Isn't that just a prerequisite to be prime minister? Is you have to eat a whole beaver alive?
No.
I think it might be. I don't know.
I wouldn't put it past Harper. Whoa. No one cares about Harper. But yeah, that was the one. So there's not much. I was looking at a bunch of websites. There's not much on it, other than that it could be a giant ground sloth. I don't know how they could have seen a giant ground sloth because kind of went extinct. But like, interesting.
It's not as giant as it used to be.
Yeah. Also, it's in the Yukon. This seems very strange. And then the next two I want to talk about, but like I don't know if you want to like chime in with your thing.
Oh, sure, I'll whip one in.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. This one's more of a tall tale. It's pretty fun. My topics yet again are from my hilarious book, Monsters of Virginia: Mysterious Creatures in the Old Dominion by L.B. Taylor. The inside cover, signed to Margaret. Happy hunting. Keep on hunting, Margaret. Through Virginia's 4 centuries, there have been scattered reports of avian beasts flying through the sky, attacking livestock, people, sometimes babies. And my first flying terror is a tall tale, like I said. Could be a cryptid, could just be an animal. We don't know. Supposedly, it's true. Reported by Ross Kress, February 2nd, 1942. Told a story to Works Progress Administration writer James Taylor Adams in Wise County, and it lived on to the Blue Ridge Institute of Rocky Mountain. It goes as such. Mother told me that one time there was a man and a woman, and they had a baby. The man and woman had to go to the meadow, cut some hay, rake it up. They laid the baby in the shade, didn't want to get too hot, like a dog in the car, but you're not supposed to do that because it'll die. They kept noticing a big eagle sailing around and around. It came lower and lower, but they didn't think anything of it. Fools. Then, all at once, the eagle came down, screaming, swooping. It grabbed the baby. It flew. The women started to scream. The man started to scream. They began to chase. Hooting and hollering, they chased it. They kept running. The eagle was flying back to the mountain. Its mountain. Up a big cliff. The man and woman made it to the foot of the mountain. And they climbed and climbed. At last they got to the cliff. The man, he said, "Wait here, madame, milady." He tipped his fedora, and he began to climb. Don't laugh. This is a true story. He began to climb the mountain himself. He went up to the nest, hand over hand, rock over rock. And he peered over the nest finally. The old eagle he saw flying off. But the babies were there. A couple baby eagles. And his baby. But it was fine. So he grabbed the baby and he went back down.
The eagle ate my baby?
No, the baby was fine. It tried to eat him.
The eagle took my baby?
Yeah, the baby he was just in the nest with the other babies. It was more of a play date than anything.
It's like the dingo ate my baby.
Yeah, except in that one, the dingo actually did indeed eat their baby.
Yeah, well, it did actually take the baby.
This one, it was just more of a human eagle baby play date. It was pretty cute.
I think the eagle was planning on eating it.
He might have. You don't know, though. That's the thing. Did you ask the eagle? Did you get both sides to the story? You can't just judge an eagle by its cover.
Its cover. Okay.
But I like this because it goes to show some cryptids are just aminals.
Doing animal things.
When animals attack.
When bears attack.
When eagles take your baby for a play date and you have to go get it yourself. They don't bring it back.
That's totally something that I could see happening. Like, just because the eagles I've been known to even take cats. So like, why wouldn't
Well,
I
yeah.
take a baby?
Well, depending on your baby's age and fatness.
How plump
grab
your
a baby.
baby is.
Here's a trick for everyone who lives in the West. If you leave your baby unattended, make sure it's real fat. Because then the baby can't be flown away because it's too heavy.
Too heavy.
Feed it lard.
Don't do that.
Feed your baby lard.
Ugh, that's gross.
Mayonnaise large sandwich. Christine, what's your next topic?
I was going to talk about the Black Flash of Provincetown.
See, Provincetown, I'm pretty sure, is the place that's called P-Town over here. And you go there, and it's very fun.
Yeah. Well, my coworker loves Provincetown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure P-Town's the correct place I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I always mix it up with Providence because Providence and Provincetown in my mind sound really similar.
Well, they are similar. Providence and province.
Yeah, in my mind I'm just like, same place.
So, I guess...
But is this like the Flash's evil twin?
No, this is like some sort of boogeyman. Like, as Rusho did put it, it's like Slenderman, sort of. Except, a little bit more active, a little less killing. Just spooking. Jumps out of bushes and goes blah, and laughs really hard and then disappears. That's pretty much his calling card. So it started out in October 1938 in Provincetown. It was first seen by kids. They were telling spooky stories because it's, near Halloween. But then actually encountered the Black Flash, which I think is such a bad name.
Flash.
It's basically a really tall guy, like supposed to be like 8 feet tall, with really long arms, wearing only black and a cape, and jumps out of bushes and goes ooga booga and then disappears.
It's kind of like Spring Heel's Jack.
That's all I could think about, because apparently he can jump really high too.
Yeah.
So it's Spring Heel's Jack, but not in England.
Yeah, maybe he moved.
Maybe they're brothers.
Or again, maybe
he moved, because it's also...
Because he did disappear at some point, I'm pretty
disappear.
sure, and just left. Maybe he went to colonize America with the rest of us.
Yeah.
Wow, Spring Heel Jack's a pilgrim. I never knew.
Never knew. Yeah, pretty much like all the stories are pretty much like people being like, I don't believe that person. Doorbell.
Ooh, and then he rings the doorbell and jumps in.
That actually scared me so bad. I'm not expecting anything. I did not order any food. Yeah, so he just kind of comes in and out of existence, spooking people and going away.
Yeah, he just ding 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 jumps in. It's me.
Okay, I have a feeling it's people downstairs that have ordered something.
It's possible.
Sometimes I never put the thing saying, hey, we in the basement, not on the top floor. Come to the back.
That's where we'll kill you.
That sounds really ominous now that I said it.
Or sexual. Is that all? Spring Heel Jack?
Spring Heel Jack, yeah. No, apparently he leapt over a 10-foot fence.
Damn,
and apparently...
Play basketball.
And one guy claimed that he shot...
Oh.
The guy, but it didn't faze him, and then he laughed, and then disappeared. So...
Now he sounds like Bigfoot.
Maybe. But all I can think
Sometimes Bigfoot doesn't care about bullets.
When I imagine him, all I can think about is the Babadook. So it's like horrible. But he has like glowing eyes. Supposed to have a really weird face.
Ha ha ha, he yelled.
Yeah. And he has like a
can't catch me.
Weird monstrous voice. But yeah, there's not a huge amount of sightings. It kind of goes from like 1938 to 1945, I think it was. Yeah. Yep. That's not that bad. Story.
I like them. Well, mine is far more terrifying than yours. The Belled Buzzard. Many people across the globe have tales, myths, of creatures that foretell upcoming doom, or tragedy, such as the Banshee's scream or Mothman's hugging of bridges. But this Virginian tale is even more scarier. Reports from Shenandoah Valley to northern mountains of Georgia. Farmers would hear the distinct cry of the belled buzzard in the distance overhead. They'd run out of their homes. The legend simple. If you hear the cry, shortly after, someone would die. I made that rhyme out myself. I'm quite proud. Don't stop laughing at my awful jokes. They're supposed to be played flat so everyone else can cringe.
Cringe! Sorry, it's just so silly.
A number of sightings are recorded in the book Life Along Holman's Creek. And we have a very small paragraph of one of those sightings right here for you, to your face. Having seen in some of the papers, Rothgeb said, very interesting references to the now quite famous belled buzzard. I feel it my duty to report the fact that this interesting and highly distinguished creature was seen quite near my residence last Monday morning by Mrs. R., whose attention, having been attracted by an unusual sound, she stepped out of the house to investigate, and to her amazement she found that the sound proceeded from a small bell that could be plainly seen attached to the neck of that well-known ethereal rambler. For some little time, as the distinguished visitor hovered and circled in the air nearby, not far from the earth, she viewed with thrilling interest and delight the singularly novel spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
My second cryptid's also just an animal.
He's just an animal.
This was just a buzzard someone tied a bell to.
That's really funny.
But if you see it, someone's gonna die, though.
Eh,
What? You don't think that's scary?
not really.
I guess it's not. It's like a PG version of the Banshee, I guess. But, you know, I mean, it's still pretty spooky. Christine's mean.
I'm not mean. I just think it's silly.
She's making fun of me because her topics are all scarier.
I'm not sure if they're scary, but
There's a big, tall, slender man that jumps with a cape and yells at you. How's that not scary?
I'm trying to sign into our email just to see. I can't write, apparently. One sec. Okay, so my thing is actually the Spidergate Cemetery in Leicester, Massachusetts. I'm sorry I had so much trouble reading that.
I would guess Leicester.
No, it's like Leice.
I would still guess Leicester. It's like Worcester.
But it's Cester.
I know. I'm still gonna say that.
Really? So it's like
No matter how many times you say it.
Like Worcester
Yeah,
sauce?
like how Worcester is spelled Worcester, but everyone just says Worcester.
It is hard to say.
It's a regional dialect. If you live in Leicester, please tell us the correct way to say it. If you don't, it's Leicester.
But yeah, it's a cemetery. It's called the Spidergate Cemetery, but actually its real name is the Friends Quaker Cemetery. But it is known to have the 8th gate of hell in it somehow. I actually don't know where this came from.
It goes straight to the 8th layer of hell?
Not this, no, it's supposed to be a gate to hell.
It's the 8th gate. Like, there's just 8 different gates you can go in to get to
Yeah,
hell?
apparently there's a lot of gates to go to hell.
Are there 666?
I don't think so. But yeah, no, so it's apparently a gateway to hell. Oh my god, phone. I don't really know where they came up with this 8 gate of hell thing, other than the fact that it's a cemetery and it's spooky. Also, when I was reading this, they say that there's 2 stories and it doesn't make much sense. So, one of the stories is that the spider gates aren't actually spiders. It's supposed to be the sun, which I could see, because I can't imagine that being spiders.
Might be, though.
But another one, so there was actually a suicide in the cemetery. Which, when I was reading it, I'm not sure if it was just bad grammar, but, how does the story go? 1950s. In 1943, a young boy who was feeling took his life by hanging himself on a tree within the cemetery.
Yeah.
I like how it's like, who was feeling? Boys aren't allowed to feel. If they do, they commit suicide, apparently.
No, he's not wrong, though. That's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, apparently this boy was of Greek descent, and he was also an artist.
Oh, Greek. I'll hit him up in the big Greek yogurt in the sky when I die, dude.
So,
see what's up. Be like, were you feeling, my dude?
Were you feeling, my guy? So he was an artist, and he made a bunch of art, and his family, after his passing, donated the spider gates to the cemetery, for some reason. But the spider gates are supposed to be representing the story of Arachne, which seems really weird, because my interpretation or my understanding of the story from what the many times I've read it from different sources is that there was a woman named Arachne who weaved really well, but she does not think that her ability to weave is a gift from the gods, and she thinks it's of her own power, which is fair. And then Athena's like, oh, but if you don't care about the gods, I'm a god. And then they're like, okay, then can you do it better than me? And then Athena does her own thing, and Arachne still weaves better than Athena, and then Athena gets jealous and gets mad, so she curses Arachne to be a spider and to continue to spin web, like to keep making thread. So that's the story of Arachne. And this one that they're talking about in this one is that when Athena is beaten, Athena ruins the tapestry that Arachne makes, making Arachne kill herself, which is not in any story that I've ever read. And with that, Athena gets sad and then reincarnates Arachne as the first spider, and that is why it's the web. Yeah. But I've never heard that version, so I think this one is a little bit too close.
That sounds like a very pleasant Western remake.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Athena was just a dick.
Well, that's the thing. It's a better. It's a nicer story. I like it better than just haha, you're a spider. It's just for all the things that Zeus does and all of them. Well, that's the thing. I always thought that Athena was just mad at anything Zeus did. This one, she's just mad at not being able to sew correctly.
Oh, she did sew really well. It's just Arachne did better. Yeah. That was the thing. So yeah, actually the tree that boy hung from is still there. And I think you can still find a rope around it. So there's that. It is a really old cemetery. There's like really old tombstones. But all of that, it does seem kind of unremarkable. Like, it just seemed like a cemetery, like any other. But nothing, no ghost stories that I can find that came out of it. Though, when I come visit, you have to take me.
I don't know what the hell that is.
We'll find out. An adventure.
It's probably somewhere awful. It's probably somewhere full of ghosts.
That's fine.
It's not fine. I don't want to be haunted.
You're not gonna be haunted.
It might be, though.
Oh. But yeah, that was my story. Because there's not much there. Because, you know, I don't know how this is supposed... I think it's supposed to be because there was, like, worship supposed to happen there from the original people who owned the cemetery. But it's not obviously a thing that people do anymore.
Why?
Why? Because it was pagan worship. So...
Oh, the scariest worship.
Well, so I guess the gates of hell. I don't know. It's probably some sort of Christian being like, you pagan stuff. You'll open up a gate to hell, and
It always does. It's true.
oh yes, it's all made up.
My final story is yet again about some birds. Are you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. One of the most flamboyant desperados to come out of the southwestern Virginia mountains in the late 1800s was a charismatic psychopath named Talt Hall. His reign of terror in the backcountry lasted for more than a quarter of a century. Historian Rory Sturgill described Hall as a Klansman, feudist, and a killer. Estimates on how many he killed were between a dozen to 100. According to Henry Scalf Hall, after shooting one of his victims, climbed a fence, flapped his arms, and crowed like a rooster, then shouted, "After this, I'm going to be called Bad Talt Hall." Sounds scary, right?
No. No.
Hall was acquitted for about 3 murders because everyone was too afraid of him. But in 1891, he was committed for the most atrocious murder ever perpetrated in this section of the state. Ennis Hilton, a special policeman from Norton, had apprehended a thief and was bringing him in when Hall came out of the woods and ordered Hilton to release his prisoner. When he refused, Hall pulled out his .38 caliber pistol and shot him dead. He was finally convicted and hanged for this.
Because he killed
a short time before, though. Huh? Yeah, he killed the cop.
Okay.
A short time before the execution, though, Talt gave an interview to a newspaper correspondent in which he reviewed a curious psychic experience that haunted him from the time he shot Hilton. After killing him, Hall related, I fled to the woods and traveled through the wilderness in the direction of Coburn. Brooding over the course I should pursue to get away, I was suddenly surrounded and overshadowed by 1,000 little birds that screamed insistently and fluttered about me, darted at my face and hands with their sharp bills, trying to peck out my eyes. It was with great difficulty that I fought them away with a bush, for they seemed eager to do me harm. The singing and chirping of these birds rang in my ears for several days after I fled west. The sound ceased to haunt me until a few days before my arrest, when I again began to hear the birds as distinctly when they attacked me in the woods of Wise County. I had quite forgotten the crow sound, and they are now annoying me greatly. Hall, the reporter said, was convicted and convinced that the phenomenon was a punishment for the crimes he had committed. Ghost birds.
Ghost birds.
Psychic ghost birds.
I totally missed a bit of the story about the cemetery.
What was it?
There is supposed to be a haunted place, like tombstone. If you walk around this guy's grave, it's supposed to be Earl Marmaduke. Marmaduke?
Like the dog. Yeah, Marmaduke.
Marmaduke. 10 times, you walk around his gravestone 10 times at midnight and say, Marmaduke, speak to me. Kneel down and put your head on the gravestone. You could hear his voice.
Oh.
And people have said that they hear stuff. I guess. And there's also like a girl that disappeared and they found her body near the... Or did she disappear? Surrounding...
You could disappear and then be found.
I guess so, at least, but it says like they never found the body.
Also, she disappeared
Yeah.
by the cemetery and was never found again.
Yeah.
Now that's truly spooky.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a ghost girl, I guess. Meh.
Christine's not easily impressed.
I'm not easily impressed when it comes to these things because people just make up stuff. I had to dream about a girl in my living room. It's just what happens.
That's when you're asleep, though.
Yeah.
Wait till you see her when you're awake.
It's like that one time where I saw a girl, like, jump off a bunch of chairs.
Yeah,
And
again,
then
you're haunted.
It's
so.
not real.
It is. Nobody has IRL full-blown psychosis like that and just goes, whatever.
I was also a very big daydreamer as a kid.
Sure, alright, whatever. Doesn't count for it.
Skeptic Christine and Believer Bob.
No, I don't just ignore things. It could be anything. I'm agnostic about ghosts. I'm not gonna say it's not real. Because what if it is? You gotta be ready. You gotta have some sage, some holy water, a didgeridoo, a gun. You gotta be ready. I have none of these, so I'm not ready. But I suggest you all do.
Meh.
Alright, everybody. When Christine dies, I'll make sure to let you know. And she'll be the next tall tale.
But I was looking forward, guys, to personal stories about hauntings that you guys have experienced. And I have heard
Christine,
nothing.
not everyone is haunted like you are, so give them some
Do you have
slack.
any, like, stories of your grandparents being haunted, or the things that they've seen, or maybe even a weird neighbor that said, "Oh, don't go up on that hill. I saw a spirit of a child that killed themselves in a river." Nothing?
Like I said, not everybody's haunted like you, Christine. I've never seen anything ghostly.
There's gotta be something. I'm interested to hear any personal stories. And I just hit my cup with my phone. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm done with what I'm saying.
Likewise, sadly.
Sadly. But yeah, if you want to do any suggestions, just leave them in in the comments below. Or you can email us at occultclass@gmail.com. What else do we say? It's like my brain has not been good this week. Bob is sandbagging me. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Bob, do you have anything else to say?
Keep on hunting, Margaret.